Out of more than 20 distinct sounds in her vocabulary, your chicken has a handful she uses only with you. Sounds that don't exist anywhere else in her repertoire. Not with the flock, not with strangers. There's a private acoustic language playing out every time you're near, one most backyard keepers write off as ambient background noise. And once you learn to hear it, it's clearly a conversation, not noise at all. If you think every soft sound she makes means the same thing, wait until you see what the trill, the murmur, and even her total silence are actually telling you. So what is she actually saying when that quiet trill comes out specifically near you? Why might her staying completely silent near you be the strongest signal of all? And what does it mean when the sounds she's always made around you suddenly stop? When your chicken makes that quiet sound near you, do you actually know what she's saying? Yes, it's pleasant to hear, but behind that soft noise, there's something most backyard keepers completely miss. It's one of the most communicatively rich things a hen can do in your presence. And if you've been writing it off as background noise, which most people do, you've been tuning out a conversation she's been having with you every single day. Let's start with what that sound really is. 1. It was never just noise. Most people assume it's simple. Chickens make sounds. That's what chickens do. But here's the thing. Chickens are not random vocalizers. Every sound a hen produces costs energy and carries intention. In a prey animal living in close social groups, unnecessary noise is a liability. It attracts predators. It disrupts flock cohesion. Sounds that don't serve a function don't persist across thousands of years of evolution. So when your hen produces a soft, low vocalization specifically in your proximity, not across the yard, not at the feeder, but near you, that sound was chosen. It exists because it does something. And what it does is far more specific than most keepers ever realize. Research led by Dr. Leslie Rogers, a neuroscientist specializing in avian cognition at the University of New England, has documented that domestic chickens possess a communication system of at least 24 distinct vocalizations, each associated with specific internal states and social context. The quiet sounds your hen makes near you are not generic contentment. They are targeted, context-dependent signals directed at a specific recipient. That recipient is you. And by the way, if you've noticed that she only makes certain sounds around you and not around other people or other birds, that distinction matters more than you think. We'll get into exactly what it means before the end. 2. The trill is a contact call, and you're the contact. Have you ever heard your hen produce a soft rolling sound, almost like a purr, but distinctly avian, while she's walking near you, foraging beside you, or simply standing in your space? That sound has a name. It's a contact call, and in the social architecture of a chicken flock, it carries a very specific function. Contact calls are the connective tissue of flock life. Hens use them continuously while foraging to maintain acoustic awareness of where every flock member is. It's a low-level broadcast, I'm here, I'm fine, we're together, that keeps the group oriented without requiring visual confirmation. In dense vegetation, in low light, or when the flock is spread across a large area, contact calls are how hens know the group is intact. Here's what most people don't realize. When your hen produces that soft trill specifically while near you, she's including you in her flock broadcast. You are who she's checking in with. You are the social anchor she's orienting around. In her acoustic map of the world, your presence is registered the same way another hen's presence would be, as something worth tracking, worth maintaining contact with, worth telling where she is. That soft sound isn't incidental, it's relational. 3. The low murmur means she's decided you're safe. Does your hen produce a quiet, almost continuous murmuring sound when she's settled near you? Dust bathing close to where you're working, resting in your general area, or simply existing in the same space without actively engaging with you. That sound is different from the contact call, and it means something different too. Here's something that should land differently than you expect. Chickens are prey animals. Their baseline state is vigilance. The neural systems that govern alertness in a prey species are wired to stay active, to keep scanning, to never fully stand down. A A chicken who is genuinely relaxed is a chicken who has assessed her environment and concluded that the threat level is low enough to reduce her guard. That low, continuous murmur your hen produces in your presence is a vocalization associated with reduced vigilance. Studies in applied animal behavior have documented that domestic hens produce distinctly lower rates of alarm-associated vocalizations and higher rates of contentment-associated sounds when in proximity to familiar, trusted humans, compared to unfamiliar individuals or no human presence at all. She's not making that sound because the yard is quiet. She's making it because you're there. Your presence is part of what lowered her threat assessment. You are not just tolerated in her space. You are part of what makes her space feel safe. And if that reframes how you think about time you spend in the yard, hit that like and subscribe. It helps us reach more keepers who want to understand what their flock is actually communicating. 4. The soft cluck directed at you is an invitation. Have you ever had your hen look directly at you, produce a short, deliberate cluck? Not an alarm, not a food call, just a single quiet note, and then wait. That pause after the sound is the part most people miss entirely. In flock communication, that pattern, vocalization followed by pause and orientation toward the recipient, functions as an initiating signal. It's the chicken equivalent of saying, hey. It's directed, it's intentional, and it expects a response. Hens use this same pattern with each other when initiating social contact, when inviting another bird to approach, or when drawing attention to something worth sharing. When she does it to you, she's using the same social toolkit she uses with her flockmates. She's not performing a behavior in your general direction. She's addressing you specifically and waiting to see what you do with it. Research into chicken social cognition, including work published in Animal Cognition, has found that domestic hens demonstrate clear social intentionality, producing vocalizations specifically oriented toward a target individual rather than broadcasting generally. The direction of her gaze and body when she makes that quiet cluck is not random. It's information. She's pointing the sound at you on purpose. 5. She makes different sounds for you than she makes for anyone else. Have you noticed that your hen's vocal behavior around you is different from how she sounds around strangers, around other flock members, or when she's alone? That difference isn't your imagination. It's documentation of a bond. Here's what most people don't consider. Vocal behavior in social animals is context sensitive in ways that go beyond simple stimulus response. A hen doesn't produce the same sounds in every social context any more than a person speaks the same way to a close friend as they do to a stranger. The social relationship shapes the acoustic output. Studies examining chicken communication in varied social contexts have found that hens modify both the rate and type of their vocalizations based on the identity of nearby individuals, producing more contact calls and contentment sounds in the presence of preferred social partners. If you are her preferred social partner, and the fact that she seeks your proximity and vocalizes softly near you suggests you are, then the sounds she makes around you exist nowhere else in her behavioral repertoire in quite the same form. She has a voice she uses with you that she doesn't use with anyone else. That voice is quiet, close, and consistent. It's been there every time you've been in that yard together. 6. Silence near you means something too. What about when she's near you and makes no sound at all? Not the absence of communication, the presence of a different kind. Here's something worth sitting with. In chicken social dynamics, a hen who is alert, scanning, or uncertain produces low-level alertness vocalizations almost continuously. Soft, rapid sounds that track her internal state. A hen who is fully relaxed into a situation doesn't need to narrate it. The silence that comes with complete comfort is itself a signal. When your hen presses close to you, settles into a dust bath nearby, or simply stations herself at your feet without producing a sound, she is demonstrating the highest level of social trust her species expresses. She doesn't need to check in vocally because her nervous system isn't in a checking in state. She's past the point of needing to monitor. She's simply there. Research on avian stress indicators has established that vocalization rate in domestic hens correlates with arousal state. Higher arousal produces more frequent vocalizations. while genuine rest is associated with near silence. A quiet hen near you isn't a disengaged hen. She's a hen whose nervous system has fully stood down in your presence.
7.
What changes when she stops making those sounds near you? What does it mean when a hen who used to produce those soft sounds in your presence goes quiet? Not the settled silence of comfort, but a persistent absence of the vocalizations that used to be there. This is what I mentioned at the beginning, and it's something every keeper needs to have the language for before it happens. Vocal behavior is one of the first things that shifts when a hen's internal state changes, whether that shift is physical, social, or environmental. A hen who has withdrawn her contact calls and contentment sounds in your presence is telling you that something in her experience has changed. Sometimes that change is health-related. Pain and illness suppress the social vocalizations first. A hen who doesn't feel well pulls inward, reduces communication, conserves resources. If the quiet is accompanied by reduced activity, changes in posture, or decreased appetite, that warrants a hands-on assessment. Sometimes the change is relational. A significant scare, a disruption in her environment, a change in how interactions with you have gone. These can cause a hen to recalibrate her social trust. The sounds come back as the trust rebuilds, slowly, through consistent and predictable presence. And sometimes the quiet simply means she's moved through something, a molt, a stress event, a seasonal shift, and she's not quite back to herself yet. She will be. The sounds will return. But while they're absent, they're not nothing. They're information, the same way the sounds were information. She has been talking to you in the quietest voice she has every time you've been in that yard. The trill that checked in. The murmur that said the threat level dropped. The single cluck that waited for you to respond. You've been part of her communication system longer than you realized, and the conversation has been going on in both directions, whether you knew it or not. Now you do.